everybody, welcome to the Miller's Way. Today is December 20th, 2023. How many days left till Christmas?
5.
We're doing good on our math right now. Today we got a video. It's a twofold video. I'm calling it Grandpa's Goody Getter and Ohio Walnuts. This is Grandpa's Goody Getter. I bought one of these for my dad years ago. Gentleman here, I think it's Wisconsin, but I don't remember. But there's a gentleman here in Ohio. Actually, it's Lake Ozark, Maryland. This guy makes these. They're 100% made here in the USA. He makes them and sells them. He's made modifications over the years and improved them. I got my dad one of these years ago, and my dad says it's the best nutcracker there is. And my dad just returned the favor to me, and he ordered one for me. So this is the latest, brand new one. I can tell you from experience, some of the modifications or enhancements. This used to be much wider. It's been slimmed down, and the old style had the handle fit right in the side here, and you could only put it in one side. I forget if it was right or left. But this one, he's actually made it so it's ambidextrous. Right-handed, left-handed, doesn't matter. And I didn't put them, there's a nut that goes with that will keep it from loosening up on you, but you can put it in either side. We're going to put it on this side because we've got a couple helpers here today. I want to show you how well this thing works. So we screwed that in. This comes out of the box ready to go. There's only two things you got to do when you take this out of the box. I should have done an unboxing video, but I was too excited. This was early Christmas. But you can see it's a small box. This fits right down into it. The handle's right next to it. The only two things you got to do is when you take this out of the box, you got the handle, this one unit, there's nothing you got to put together. All you got to do is screw the handle in. And this little bag, it's got 4 screws to bolt it in a piece of wood. I actually used some deck screws, a little bit sturdier and a little bit longer, and just a piece of treated wood that I had laying around. He recommends 24 inches, and that's exactly what we got here. It's 24 inches. You don't need anything more than that, and I'll show you why. But when you get this, when you pull this out of the box, we'll take this off again. It's got a nice, I don't think it's black walnut, but he's got a nice wooden handle on this rod. It looks like probably maple. But that's a nice wooden handle on there. It's very nice. He's got a sticker on there. I don't think they did that. It's got the phone number on it. Again, he guarantees this for life. If you've got any issues, you call him up. He's got a YouTube channel with lots of videos on this, how to use it, and all the different aspects, the history of it. And he's got a website, grampasgoodygetter.com. If you want to order one. I'm not getting commission for this or anything. He doesn't know I ordered it. My dad ordered it and gave it to me, but I'm a believer in sharing. When I find something that's good, I like to share that information. Now back to unboxing. When you first get this and open it, like I said, you'll pull this out. You'll pull this out. The only other thing is so when it comes out of the box, it looks like this. Now, if you do like I did, because when I first took it out, I knew there was like a cantilever here. And I'm like, wow, he really did modify this. You don't need a cantilever anymore. And I did like probably a lot of people do. I took it out of the box. I'm all excited. I put my handle in. I grabbed a walnut. I put it in there and womp, womp, womp. It's not working. I'm like, okay. That is because if you actually get out there's a little piece of paper in here with instructions, and it encourages you to watch the videos. It will tell you need to release this cotter pin. So you just push in on this, pull that out, and I mean, you can hang on to that if you ever want to just put it back in the box, but you're going to want to bolt this down. You can't do it unless you got two people and really hanging on to it. You need a piece of wood. So back to the directions. I thought, you know what, maybe I should read the rest of the directions. He recommends 24-inch piece of wood minimum. And that's exactly what I have here. It's just a piece of old treated 2x6 and it works fine. Now, with this, you'll see what happens. You pull this back. You see how this slides back? You put that in there and it will adjust. Now you've got tension on there. It's perfect. This thing will do any nut. This will do black walnuts, English walnuts, hickory nuts, hazelnuts, Brazil nuts. It'll do any kind of nut. Now, these nuts that I have right here, we're here in Ohio, northern Ohio, north central Ohio. These are just wild nuts I picked up this fall that just grow wild around here. These nuts, my dad grafted these onto one of his wild, well, he's grafted onto several of his wild trees, but this particular strain of walnuts called Ohio walnut. Now, we are members of the Ohio Nut Growers Association. We go to the meetings there. We learn about growing nuts. We exchange scion, things like that. And my dad got some scion from this Ohio walnut, and he grafted it onto several of his trees. This is a few years ago. Now he's getting nuts. Now, why would you graft? And if you can go back, and we'll post a link on this. We've got some videos where we've actually been grafting black walnuts. Some of you might say, well, why would you graft black walnuts? This is why. Just put it in there, bring it back. Now, you hear that's cracking already. Look at that. It's done. Now, I'm going to put my glasses on here. Now, look at this. Watch how this comes apart. Look at that nut meat right there. Look at the thickness of that nut meat. And I've already cracked a few of these and gotten an entire half. To get an entire half of black walnut, it's pretty hard to do, but not with these Ohio walnuts. They're really something else. So here's another thing you want. And I believe when you order one of these, they put a pair of these in there now. I can't say it's the same ones. These are just ones we've bought. But you get these little side cutters. And watch how easily this shell just cuts and breaks apart. I'm hardly any pressure here. I'm just gonna snip, a couple snips. Look at this nut meat. Look at that, it's still hanging on, almost a half a nut. Let's see if we can get the whole half out. I think we're gonna get it out. We need one more little snip here. She's hanging on in the front. That's the nice thing about these little snippers. See, they get right behind the nut meat there. They don't mess it up. You see what I just did there? I just broke that off a little bit. I'm toying around with this because I want you to see this come out. Look at that. That is a thing of beauty right there. That is an entire black walnut. Look at the thickness of that nut meat. Wouldn't you love to have a gallon jar full of these? These things are amazing. Look how thin this shell is. That's Ohio walnut. Now there's several kinds of varieties that are out. There's Ohio, there's Utah, there's Hale, there's another one. My dad got about 7 nuts off of it. I grafted it for him. He says probably 4 or 5 years ago, but I don't have any of those. But he says right now, he said that's a good one too, but he hasn't gotten enough history off of it to see if it does as well. But these Ohio nuts, my dad's cracked a lot of nuts. He said these are probably the best ones right now. So, again, we got this through Ohio Nut Growers Association. If you can't find any, you can message us through on our Facebook channel. I might be able to get some scion and sell to you this spring. We've got a couple trees now that had a lot of good growth on them this year. So and it all depends on how much grafting my dad wants us to do. So, but I highly recommend do some research, get a nut like the Ohio walnut. It's got that thin shell and you get these nice nut meats. So this is what my dad gave me. He's got a couple crates of them, but he's not gonna give them up. We're gonna do these wild ones. I just pulled these out. I got 2 sacks of these. I'm gonna try to control this one a little bit more. Notice I'm leaning into it now because I know this is a harder nut and I don't wanna just pull on it. I just wanna hear it cracking there and there. Now, you saw how this was to get out. That's what happens when we take this apart. Look how thick these shells are. A lot of times when you're picking up nuts in the fall, you say, oh, you're going for those big nuts. You say, oh, those are gonna be nice ones. Well, sometimes they're all shell like this. You're gonna see here, that one came off these. Even with these thicker shells, these do a nice job. You see, we got a half there, but we're not gonna get that half out. These, you see how thick this is. So we're just gonna pull that away a little bit. Just put them side by side, give you a little comparison there. But you'll see here, this does not just simply break away when you cut it. You gotta cut and cut on it. See, there's so much shell around this nut. It's just ridiculous. But with a little work, see, even when you get it clear, there's so much thickness to these shells, they don't want to come out. So we got this half here. Just notice how this just wants to break into a bunch of little pieces. It's not like these thinner shells that'll just kind of break away. Don't get me wrong, these nuts are just as good, but if you can find walnut strains with thinner shells, and that's the goal, especially with the Ohio Nut Growers Association, and you've got some wild trees or a grove of trees that you can graft these onto, it's gonna make life a lot easier down the road and more profitable if you're selling them. We don't sell them, we just do this because we like to eat them. It's a superfood, by the way. Black walnuts is a superfood. Good for your heart, good for your eyes. I'll tell you a quick story about my dad. He's worn glasses for years. You see, I'm wearing glasses now. And last few years, working with my dad, he's not wearing glasses anymore. And I said, Dad, did you get contacts? He says, no, why? I said, well, I've just been noticing here lately, you're not wearing glasses. And I said, I gotta wear them practically to do anything anymore. Well, my dad's convinced, because I'm not kidding, he eats these every day. He's got one of these set up in his pole barn, and he's in there every day. He's got jars of these. He eats them all the time. He says he thinks it's eating these nuts has helped his eyes out, because he wears glasses for real small stuff, but not like he used to. So I'm going to start eating more. I love these, but I don't eat enough of them. Dig in. So we're going to crack these when we're done here. I'm still going to crack these, but I'm not looking forward to it. I've done about 6-7 cups worth of nut meats out of these, and it's not fun because they're so darn thick. So back to this real quick. I've shown you Grandpa's Goody Getter. This one, my wife Emmy, she bought for me for Christmas years ago. This one's made in China. Comes with a board on it. It's done a decent job. It's cracked a lot of nuts. But some of the things on it is you've got this kind of a gear system up here. You got to keep this oiled because you do get metal. This is like low quality cast here. I think it's, I don't know, cast, I don't even think it's aluminum. It's an aluminum metal mix. I don't know, but it's getting shavings and stuff. We actually, if you see here, we've got a black bolt in there. That sheared off just the other day when we were using it before we got this one out. and with your nuts. Now this is nice. It doesn't do bad, but this is hamburger and this is steak. That's how I'll put it. You know, you can get a good burger, but if you like good steak, good choice or prime steak, that's what this is. So this, you pull back here and it seats your nut. And you pull back. This one, you pull this lever back, you put it in here. Depending on the size of your nuts, you do have 2 bolts here that, this is how this one adjusts. They go in and out, and they will move over time, so you find yourself adjusting. But what you do when you put the nut in this, you bring it back, and then you'll bring this forward a little bit till you catch one of these gears right here. Sometimes you're too far up, see? You gotta back it up. Sometimes you're too far back. See, I didn't go far enough, so you gotta bring it up another notch. But again, this is Ohio walnut. Look how easy that cracked. So, again, this is hamburger, this is steak. This is wild, thick-shelled walnut, this is Ohio walnut. So, it works, don't get me wrong, but I'd much rather use this. So you can see we can do the same thing here, but you notice there's a couple times I had to hit it and fidget around with it. And like I said, it's not the best material. This bolt here that runs through this rod here, it sheared off of me the other day. I went to crack a nut and like, what the heck's going on? The bolt was laying down. So you got to keep this oiled. It still does a good job, but not as good as that one. You see, we're still getting nice nut meats. I love it when I'm cracking nuts and I get these that are just dark and shriveled up a little bit and just a little bit yellow inside. They turn sweet. That's like when I'm cracking a bunch of walnuts and I come into one, some are even darker and more shriveled than that, and I see that yellow streak going through them. They do not go in the jar. I don't share them with anybody. I eat them because they're sweet. They're good. The only thing you got to do on this maintenance-wise is there's a cam back here. Keep that lubricated. See, it's got some red MP grease on there. Just every now and then put some of that on there. He's got a video on there. One of his customers had one for a long time. She brought this cam into him, or brought the whole thing in. She said it wasn't working anymore. She never greased this, and she wore a groove down in there to the point where this wouldn't even move anymore. Wore a groove right into that. He still gave her a new one. Real nice guy, and you talk about a quality product. Now, we're gonna watch the kids do it here, and then we'll be done. If you got any questions, leave a comment. And see our videos on grafting too. Okay, Isaac, pull the handle back that way. Push it all the way back. That'll be the hard part, because there is a little more, takes a little more tension to get that down. Okay, let it up. Okay, pull it forward. Gently. Yep, keep going. Keep going. He's used to this one and not giving it too much pressure because he knows it'll explode. There you go. All right, good job. Now we push it back. Quinn, you want to do it? Push your handle back. I'll put the nut in it for you. Okay, let it up slowly. There you go. Bring it forward. There you go. Stop. That's perfect. Push it back. Look at that. So easy. A 6-year-old and 8-year-old can do it. You have lots more help if you get one of these because they enjoy using this. That one over there, Isaac's got both hands on there and he's giving it everything he's got. So again, hope you enjoyed this video. It's a double-edged sword. We talked about walnuts and the walnut crackers. So thanks for watching. If you got any questions, leave a message, and Merry Christmas, everybody.